You're watching Inside Automotive with Shyann Malone.
Hi everyone, I'm Shyann Malone. In the realm of dealership marketing, every click and scroll does matter. And with the introduction of Google's GA4, marketing managers gained a powerful tool, but so far the reviews, let's just call them mixed right now. Joining us now to talk more about it, Brooke Furniss, founder of BZ Consultants Group. She's here to bring us up to speed on how it's being used and some of the best practices. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you today, Cheyenne. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about dealership marketing and how it's changed and really what it is today.
Man, that is a loaded first question. You're like, hey, no softballs. We're just going to dive right into it. I love it. Yeah, it's changed a lot. So when GA4 came about, for anyone that's unaware of what GA4 is, there was GA3, which is Universal Analytics. That was around for 10, 15 years, something like that. And then GA4 came about and just kind of a cluster. They're really building the plan as they're taking off, but in order to do what it can do and what it eventually will do is pretty remarkable. But right now we're still all feeling the pains of it doesn't work. Every time I log in, something changes. I log here, I can't find it. I'm used to UA, it's not this way anymore. But once it is fully optimized, to be able to see every click, hover, swipe of everything that's going on makes it so you're able to better optimize the performance for your customer, but also for the person in-house too, to see things. It's just knowing where to click right now and hoping that report works.
How big of a benefit do you think this will be for dealerships?
Huge, because right now you can't go back to UA, to the old Google Analytics. It's got to be GA4. And when I go and look at stores, I would say the majority of stores are not set up correctly. It's no really follow their own. They just don't know how to do it. And so having someone in-house to help train there, or have someone obviously like my company go in and help train to say, hey, we can do this. Let's look at this. But if you're trying to figure out where should I spend that money? How do I inspect what I expect? If you don't have GA4 set up properly and looking at it consistently because it changes so quickly, you don't know where your money is being spent. You don't know if it's a lead source or an ad agency, or you did some whatever campaign is. In order to truly inspect it, that's got to be set up correctly. And it's not just sending over what's called a measurement ID. It's not just sending that over. It's really going in and making sure the events are firing. They're what are called ASC, they're Automotive Standard Council events. Do I have my custom definitions set up correctly? Do I have my conversions set up correctly? I've seen a lot of accounts that people are tracking VDP views, and that's not the point of GA4. It's what happens on that page. So just going through and saying the property that we own, how is it set up? Is it set up correctly and optimized for our benefit?
And what other recommendations do you have just for marketing managers as a whole to use it and leverage GA4 effectively?
Great question. First and foremost, if you're new to it and you're trying to figure out what it is or how it works, whomever your website provider is, if they set it up for you, ask, do I own it? Now, back in UA days, it was really imperative that you own it. Now, you still need to own it, but what we're seeing with a lot of website providers, all but probably one, is that they'll make it for the dealer, but the only way you own it is if you at some point leave that company, they'll give it back to you. So then figure out, okay, do I want to only work out of the one that the website provider made for us, or do I want to make my own and say throw the ASC events in there? So with that, the other thing that pops up with that next question is, well, can I have a view? Well, in old UA, you could. New GA4, there aren't views. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people are making a lot of different properties. And you're like, okay, which one's the real one? Which one should be working out of? And if you don't know, or you don't really own it, just make your own. I'm happy to assist with this. And just know that, okay, from here forward, then you got to contact every single vendor that is throwing events and say, throw it into property G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's really key, because if it's set up, but you don't have your chat provider, your call tracking provider, your digital retailing tool, your merchant, if you don't have all these things firing into that property, you're only getting half of the data. And then that leads me into the fun field of thresholding, which anyone that's watching this, if I said thresholding, you probably just kind of like shivered a little bit because it's not fun. Google is working on that. What that means is they're going to cap how much data is flowing in and to show you, so you won't see all your data. So that's been a real fun one that's led a lot of us to pull out our hair.
When it comes to metrics, any particular metrics that stand out to you when it comes to GA4, that would be more, let's say, valuable with dealership marketing efforts?
Yeah, very love that question. So with GA4, they switched over. You're going to see some things that went away that maybe a lot of people like bounce rate. I'm not one of those people because it can be manipulated, but a lot of people are very upset that bounce rate's gone. Well, if you look at what you'll see, like users, sessions, engaged sessions, well, that's great that sent 10,000 sessions, But how many of those were actually engaged? If only 2,000 of those are engaged and the engagement rate is like 20%, why would I continue to pay for that traffic? I want to move that over to another traffic source that's going to give me if I'm getting, let's say, 500 sessions, but 510 of them are engaged, that's way, way better metrics for me to know that I'm spending my money appropriately. So really diving in to say, what is the engagement rate? How are they, is the consumer interacting from there? So the engagement portion, to me, I love that portion, because before I was having to do a bunch of algorithms to figure this stuff out. And it just makes my life a lot easier.
And what's your prediction for the next few years of marketing as a whole?
Ooh, bold question there. When it comes to GA4, I would say from the inception, it'll probably take it took about a year for it to normalize. I would say this is going to take at least 2 years to normalize. When it comes to marketing as a whole, man, we're seeing all sorts of different trends right now. Google is doing a lot of changing, to say the least. So it'll be really interesting to see where people are going to continue to spend the money. I'm not against paid search. Paid search has its place. But when you're seeing Google say spend more and spend more and spend more, at what point do you just get to the law of diminishing returns? So then the SEO portion comes to a fact of, hey, how are we doing on SEO? How are we doing on organic social? How are we doing on paid social? Looking at all those different things. But the way that Google continues to want people to spend money, I would not be surprised if there's going to be a switch to say, we're done spending money. We want to move it over to build our SEO.
Any final thoughts for us, Brooke, before we say goodbye?
Hey, if you need any help, definitely reach out. But I say from that, just please go in, look real quickly. You do a quick little search on reports to say, on the events to say ASC, see how many are firing right now. If you don't see any, there's a problem. And your vendors, your vendor partners need to be communicated with pretty quickly.
Brooke Furniss, founder of BZ Consultants Group. Thanks so much for your time today, Brooke.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank all of you for joining us and watching Inside Automotive exclusively right here on CBT News. And we're now streaming on Roku and Apple TV.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Shyann Malone.